the in the tech space.
Yeah, no, so definitely in the tech space, like there's a lot of opportunity because there's tools that need to be mastered. There's approaches that need to be understood, and um, learning those is I think it's all doable.
You're listening to the 7 Echo Podcast, brought to you by 7 Eagle Group, the place where we highlight inspiring and interesting United States military veterans who have found a successful civilian career after trading in their uniforms.
All right, this is Jay Sheehan from 7 Eagle Group, and this is our Veteran CISO podcast. And I'm here today with Mike Mahaney from Access Group. Mike, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, hi Jay, how you doing?
Good, thank you. So Mike, as we were discussing, this is really just to draw attention to the transitioning soldiers and sailors, Marines and airmen out there, as well as drawing some attention for our veteran and military spouse community on positions in tech and transitioning from the military into tech jobs. So, Mike, you were in the Navy. Why don't you tell me a little bit about what you did in the Navy?
Yeah, so for me in the Navy, I was in the Civil Engineer Corps. That's a part of the Navy that's responsible for construction and supporting the the infrastructure that the Navy's already built out, whether it be naval bases, submarine bases, airfields, etc. So our job was just to do projects that were all related to improvement in the entire Navy infrastructure.
Well, that's awesome. So how did you transition from civil engineering and engineering into information security?
Yeah, well, that's a long, tortured path, let's say. Effectively, I came out of the Navy with what I would say are project management skills. Those project management skills were what landed me my first couple of jobs. And so what I was doing is effectively managing projects I worked for a pump company initially, managing the construction of big industrial pumps that were going into power plants, and I did several years working projects like that as a project manager. And then I shifted gears there. I took that knowledge into a small company where I was building boilers and designing boilers. I decided I wanted to be a product guy. And so I was building products for the home heating industry. And there was like this interesting product that had caught my eye, and went to work for a small company for a number of years. And then I realized that wasn't going to cut it for me. So I felt like I was getting behind in the tech industry. I was seeing everything going on with fiber optic networks, all this amazing technology growth. This was back around the year 2000, and I felt like I needed to be involved in tech in some way. So I was able to get an entry point into a company that was part of Lucent. It was a gear microsystems. And what I ended up doing there was being a project manager for tech projects. So in managing those projects, I knew the construction world, but putting together a technology project, deploying software into a corporate ecosystem was a completely foreign thing to me. So I had to, basically figure it out as I went, and ask a lot of questions, build a lot of relationships, and figure out, how do you convey that you understand what's going on. So you have to learn the technology while you're also trying to manage the deliverables. And so over that time period, I figured that out, was able to move up to a point where I was running a project management office where we're running multiple projects. So it became an aggregation exercise of how do you run a lot of projects well. And then my interest then turned into business intelligence. I started getting more interested in data and what is happening with organizations and leveraging of data to make better decisions. So that took me down this path of, what can I do in business intelligence, and ended up finding a company that was doing a lot of work in business intelligence, but wanted to expand their role into project management because there are some project management technologies that they're interested in. So I had this expertise in project management that allowed me to flip over into the business intelligence world. And so that led me into building up expertise in these BI tools. And then it led to operational expertise around running these BI tools and offering these to customers and providing managed services to deliver, all these capabilities. And while we were doing that, security around data was very important. We handled customers' data. We handled sensitive, protected health information that's covered by government laws. We have financial information and so forth. And the challenges there were like, just how do you manage your processes around that data to secure it properly? And by dealing with all those different concerns, that really positioned me to take on the capacity of the Chief Information Security Officer within our company. So it is a role that is, in combination with, the operations work that I do for the company and managing all our services, but all of it is bundled together in this technology wrapper where we're protecting and securing our clients' data.
That's an incredible journey, and I'm sure it was learning to wear a lot of different hats on the way up. Right?
Yeah, just a constant shift.
Well, I mean, from military wise, a lot of us have to keep shifting jobs as we're going anyway. So that might be something that'll resonate with some of our members out there. So thank you for that. I know as we were speaking earlier, it was a while ago, but do you remember what your transition from the Navy to the civilian life was like? Was it difficult, or did you just find yourself picking it right up, or any tidbits that you remember that might have helped you back then that might help someone else moving forward now?
Let's see, you put me on the spot a little bit here, but if I
It's part of what I
unwind
do.
a little bit, like the first thing that actually comes to mind, I would say, is releasing the military jargon, learning how to talk like a civilian, and you have to consciously do that. And you have to get out of the yes sir, no sir. Like there's a certain attitude that's very helpful in terms of command and control, but it can't be your day-to-day lingo. And so you have to learn how to speak the way everyone else is, and just make that transition. And people don't really, they're not going to get or understand what you did in the military, and you can't carry that around with you, but you can relate it in little vignettes along the way. And people will, once they get to know you, they'll be more accepting and willing to hear your story around what you did.
Thank you. That was excellent. Some of the stuff that we talk about on a daily basis is trying to drop the acronyms. The yes sirs and no sirs are the hardest ones to drop, I think. I still find myself doing that even after all these years. And the old Roger that, well, I'll throw out once in a while. It just slips out there. But that was excellently, you put that together excellently. Thank you. In your role at Access Group, does Access Group make it a point to hire veterans? And if so, how would a veteran explore those opportunities and possibly transition into a career with your company?
We absolutely, we love veterans from the sense that they bring a lot of discipline to the table. They bring discipline and rigor, good habits, logical thinking, and generally they're smart, and they know how to deal under pressure. So those are all the good things. The challenges we have in technology are sometimes those technologies take time to learn, and we have to decide whether we're in a position to invest in that person to grow them in those technology skill sets, or not. And a lot of times when different roles emerge, those roles can be very specific to a technology, to a layer of that technology. And if we can't make the bridge between what the person can do to the technology, it's a harder sell to actually hire that person. But what I would say is that where people can articulate on their resumes skill sets around the tools they've used in the military, and turn them into or relate those tools in into civilian tools, that's very helpful, because then you're like, okay, this person has some experience with databases, they have some experience running servers, they know SQL, they know Linux, and just all these core technologies. They're able to, we can get a feel for it. Okay, this person can possibly live in this space, and then we're looking at them from a behavior communication perspective, the ability to maintain rapport. In our cases, we are a services organization that is providing services to our clients. So we have to maintain relations with our clients. We have to be able to solve problems. We've got to be good troubleshooters, and all those skill sets are good military skill sets. So it's just making that translational leap from the technology you may know into the technology that we're looking to find. And one thing we have found is, in the military, there's a lot of tech jobs, and there's guys that have been out in the field setting up comms, setting up entire systems and mobile deployments, and those are, that knowledge and the understanding of how to get the uplink to network running is key knowledge that is very relevant to what we have to do.
And the fact that they're not going to stop until they get it up and running.
Yeah.
That the drive and determination to get the position and the up done.
Yeah.
So if there was one piece of advice you would give to yourself when you left the military that may help someone else moving forward, what would it be? I know that's a tougher question, but I think that, all of us, we all struggle with different things when we come home and we're trying to get into that civilian career. And sometimes it's as simple as someone saying one thing to us that can actually change our entire mindset and how we go about trying to get to that next level. What would it be that if you were to tell your younger self, what would it be? Knowing what you know now.
Yeah, I would say try to determine what you're really interested in and what seems appealing to you, because that's what drives you on an ongoing basis. Is you find something interesting, you want to learn more, you want to consume and be passionate around that subject area. And if you go in the direction that other people say, you might not necessarily get where you want to be, and it's just you might get sidetracked. And so it's invest the time thinking about what you really like to do. And in many cases, you may not have a clue of what you really like to do because you haven't been exposed to enough stuff. But that's life, and you basically got you need to get to the point where you got a couple choices put in front of you, and you have to make a choice, and hopefully you take a choice that leads to many more choices.
And trying a few new things doesn't hurt. Might be scary, but it doesn't hurt. That's right. Well, thank you, Mike, and thanks for spending the time with us today. Really appreciate it. We want to get these messages out to our transitioning service members and our veterans and military spouse community. And interviews like this help even one person, then we've done something good. I appreciate you taking the time with me today, and look forward to talking to you again soon.
Okay, super. All right. Nice talking.